Hi everyone, this is Gladys. This is my channel, Worship with Gladys. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. This is Worship with Gladys again, like I said, and here we talk about how to live an authentic Christian life, the way that God intended for us to live it. So, welcome. I just got off one of my live sessions today, and the question that I want to deal with today was one that was asked, and I feel like a lot of people ask me that question, so it's a good one to do a video on. So the question is, how should someone who thinks they never heard from God start to hear? Right? How should someone who thinks they have never heard from God, how should they start to hear? So the first thing that I'm going to say is that God is always working. God is always speaking. God is always speaking. The problem is we don't hear. And there are many reasons why you do not hear. You don't hear because you're too far away. And when I say you're too far away, because you will hear people say, "Oh, I used to hear God very clear." Think of it this way: if I'm standing beside you, you can hear me talk, right? You can hear what I'm saying. But the farther you move away from me, or I move away from you, the more difficult it is for me to hear what you're saying, to the point where you're going to be screaming at some point because you have to, or I have to do, I can't hear you. That's the one analogy I can give to this. God doesn't move. God is always consistent. So, and this is what I said to the person who asked the question. You have to go back and trace what is it that you used to do when you felt like you could hear God speak. What is it that you used to do? Was your prayer life more consistent? Were you into devotionals more? Right? You see where I'm going with that? So what have you replaced with that? Because at the end of the day, those things, we allow noise to come in. And part of noise is you spending less and less and less time before God. So you don't hear anymore. You're not focused on your attention is split in so many different ways. That's the other thing. Your attention right now is also split in so many different ways. So you're not engaging like you normally would, right? So what is it that you're taking out of your regular activities that you would normally do when you were hearing? That's the one thing that I always tell people. Trace it back. It may also mean that you need to change up, change stuff up. If, for example, your devotional time and your prayer time are becoming, routine. Because when things become routine, you don't put any thought into it anymore. You just do it just to fulfill the quota, or okay, just so they will say I prayed today. You have to guard the time, your devotion time, your prayer time. You have to guard it. Like, make it a set time. Don't do today I'm going to do 1 to 3, or I'm going to do 1:30 to 2. Tomorrow I'm going to do in the morning. Tomorrow I'm going to do in the evening. Tomorrow I'm going to do in the afternoon. Give it a set time, and don't veer off that set time. Make it a habit. If you wake up at 6 and you do your devotion from 6 to 6:30, let it be that 30 minutes. Nothing should come between you and it, right? Be consistent with it. Another tip that I'm going to give you is, maybe you need to switch things up. When I feel like I'm not hearing, God, I will switch up my time. So I may do more worship, I may listen to more worship, I may switch it up. Instead of reading the Bible, I may switch it to audio where I'm listening to it. I may add a book to my devotional time. I may just need to read maybe 2 pages, or or you can sometimes, because sometimes, and that's me, this is my own personal preference. Sometimes the devotional that I'm reading may not be what I need right now, so I may switch it. But so it depends on what it is that you're dealing with at the time. If, for example, I am so joyful, right? I'm reading devotionals about joy. Sometimes also I have let the Holy Spirit kind of help me, guide me to which devotionals I'm reading. And on the occasions that I've done that, He has actually steered me towards what I need, so that when I read those devotionals, even at the start of my day, it's settled. So I'm starting my day settled, because that is the right word for me to be hearing at that time. Make it a habit to read the Bible and read it. And I can't stress this enough. Read the Bible, read it in different versions. Read it in different versions. What that does for you is that it makes you spend more time, rather than you just reading the one version and then your time, 15 minutes, you're done. By you taking those different, and I always go up to 4, by you taking up to those 4 versions, laying them side by side and reading them, there are times I actually print them out. Yeah, it's a whole production. I print them out and I highlight and I look at things that are similar in those versions. So it's like a study. It's a study. And when you study, you spend more time than when you just read. Like, don't read the Bible, don't do your devotional, don't do your prayer times, don't have your prayer times because I have to have it, it is a routine. No, whenever you come before God, whenever you have your devotional times, or your prayer times, or your worship times, you want it to be a new experience every morning. See, that song says, the mercies of God are new every morning. It's the same way when you spend time with God. You want it to be new every time. There's something new every time that you take away from the presence of God every time. And go expecting, like, come into His presence with thanksgiving in your heart and give Him praise, and expect that He will drop something in your spirit. That's how you begin to hear. Expect that when you talk to God, that He will respond to you. So always have a journal, have a book, have a pen by you, have your phone open to the note section, type out as you hear, type it out. Whatever comes into your mind, type it out or write it down and go back to it. It may not make sense when you're writing it, but when you go back to it, it will make sense. I promise you. That's happened to me so many times. I will hear something straight up from waking up in the morning, hear something or feel something in my spirit, and I just write it down. When I'm writing, it doesn't make any sense, but by the time I go back to it days later, believe me, it makes sense. So that's it. That's part of how you start to hear God. Know that God is always speaking, and if you're not hearing Him, or you're not hearing clearly, something changed with you, not with Him. I hope that you like that video. I love talking about that topic because I have experienced so much in discovering how God talks to me. But that's not it. There's a second part of it to this video. So I hope that you'll come back next week and watch it when I put it up, when I upload it. Now, we got out of the way. The next thing I want to ask you, did you like it? Have you shared it? Did you give me a thumbs up? And have you subscribed? Till next time, I will see you. But I want to tell you, stay safe, stay blessed. continue to grow in the Word and in the Lord. See you next time. Bye.